Hello everybody. I have this dryer which is basically used to combat mold, mildew, and dampness. It's called a Stor-Dry or a Compact-Heat Stor-Dry. It's made by Caframo. I use this under my boat cover to keep the area under the cover dry and to prevent mildew and dampness. And it's a pretty simple item. It's basically a heater with a fan inside it. So at the end of this winter, when I pulled the cover off in the spring, I had an unusual amount of mold, which I've never had in prior years. So that prompted me to take a look and see whether this was working. I could hear it running, but I took it apart. It's really simple to take apart. There are 4 rivets. So you just drill the 4 rivets out and pull the lid off. And you can see very simply that it's a heating element. This black coil you see running around the inside is a heating element. The little, what they call C-frame motor with a fan blade on it. Well, when I opened the unit up, it was sitting something like this. The fan blade was not attached to the motor, which is why I could hear the motor running, thinking it was working, but the fan blade itself has failed. This is the cheapest fan blade I've ever seen. It's made of appears to be nylon, and apparently fire retardant or fire resistant nylon, because this thing melted laying up against the heating coil. And you can see the hub here is detached from this piece. So while the motor is running, the fan blade was not turning, so we weren't getting any air circulation. Went on a mission to try to find a fan blade this size and could not find anything that would work. The shaft is a 3/16 inch diameter, plain round, no flat, and I think this fan blade was around 5.5 or 6 inches in diameter. So I searched and searched and searched. You don't want to go too much larger in diameter because this motor is flea power. The thicker the motor is, the higher the horsepower. So this is pretty small, and so you're going to want fan blade as close to this as possible. What I've come up with is a 3-bladed fan. I think this one is 6.5 inches in diameter, so it's close in diameter, but because I have 3 blades, I'm obviously moving a lot more air, so it may overtax the capability of this motor. But prior to throwing this away, I thought I'd try a new fan blade and see if I can get this working again. So a couple critical things to know about. I think the convention is when you're looking at the shaft, so from this side, there is the convention for rotation. So in this case, this motor rotates clockwise, facing the shaft. So you're going to need a fan blade that is designed for clockwise rotation, which this blade is. Clockwise rotation, and it should definitely move the air, but it again may present too high a load for the capability of this motor. If that happens, the motor is going to burn up, and I'm going to end up throwing the whole thing away anyway. So in the description below, I'll give you some fan blades that I found that will work. There are 2 different brands that I was able to find. They were around $8 on eBay. I went on AliExpress, and some of the Chinese websites could not find anything that would work, but I'm pretty confident that this is going to work. I've never seen such a cheap fan blade. It's really unfortunate they put such an inexpensive part in, which turns out to be the failure mode for the dryer. There was a spring around this failed hub, and I've transferred the spring over to my new hub. Looks like the shaft bore on this fan is close to 0.2 inches in diameter, whereas the motor shaft is closer to about 0.187. So what I'm going to do to build up the diameter of that shaft is to put some heat shrink tubing on it, and that should give me a very good fit. So this is going to work perfectly. I put 2 small pieces of heat shrink tubing over the motor shaft to build up the diameter. Got a little bit of airflow, so I think this fix is going to work. To reassemble it, just put 4 new pop rivets in, or you can use really small sheet metal screws as long as they're not too long. Just short 1/4 inch sheet metal screws would be fine, but I had pop rivets, so it looks exactly almost like the originals. So here's a solution to allowing you to keep your Stor-Dry heater, repair it, and not have to buy a new one. So if you found this video helpful or informative, please give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.